I wish I had seen this video before I started advertising on Facebook many years ago. It would have saved me a ton of money and headaches. I wish my clients would have seen it. It would have saved them a ton of money and headache. But today I'm going to go over the top 4 mistakes to avoid when running Facebook ads. The first most common mistake I see make, whether it's clients coming to us to manage their Facebook ad account or just in general back when I was a rookie doing Facebook ads, is not having some sort of pre-launch checklist. Now this could be a mental checklist, you could have a literal checklist written down, but you need some sort of pre-launch checklist to avoid any hiccups. But first, make sure your pixel is active, and you can do this so easily just by installing Facebook's Pixel Helper Chrome extension, navigating to your website, and just making sure that the pixel is active and firing properly. It takes 2 minutes tops. The second item on the checklist is actually to check your events and make sure they are being triggered properly. You could do this by submitting your own form submissions, buying your own products, and so on and so forth, and then using Facebook's event manager to see if anything came through. And if it didn't, you know you need to do some digging, some investigative work to figure out why not. The next item on the checklist is actually to create custom conversion events for specific actions. So for example, a great one that I see people make all the time is a booked call. So you can track cost per booked call and when people actually make booked calls. You can make any type of other ones like registrations if you don't want to use the default registrations. There's countless scenarios where you want to use custom conversions over the built-in events inside Facebook. Get those set up right away. And a little bonus item is actually using your lookalike audiences the right way. I made an entire video about how to create lookalike audiences and different things about layering and whatnot, so feel free to click the link in the description to get that. But basically you want to start with your highest intent, lowest friction lookalike audiences first. The 1% of your customer buyers, the 2% of people who are your most valuable customers and spent the most money with you. Keep the audiences pretty low at first with the 1% range, 2%, 3% maybe. Test that out. Once you're starting to see some traction, then expand your lookalike audiences to 3, 4, 5%, but exclude the lower percents. So for example, if you're targeting a 3% audience, just exclude the 2% audience from that ad set. The next biggest mistake I see people make is actually targeting a broad audience. So don't get me wrong, I love open targeting, I love broad targeting, it gives us some of our cheapest CPMs, but you have to get there. You have to kind of earn it in a way. You need at least 50 conversions per week for that event you're trying to optimize for to even start dabbling in open targeting. Facebook lets you target people based on demographics, interest, age, gender, all these great parameters. There's so many things you can go through. So you really want to niche down and narrow down who you're actually targeting out the gate rather than going really broad. There is one caveat though, and it's basically if you have a product or service that is super no-brainer, low cost, no friction, no education to sell, you can actually go broad and get better results this way. We actually had a client, we were doing exactly that, just going broad out the gate and getting better results. Granted, it was a pretty no-brainer product and fairly cheap. So anyone from a 20-year-old to a 75, 85-year-old grandma would buy this product. But if you're like most people and you have a product or service that needs a little bit warming up, a little bit education, or the price point's a little bit higher than let's say $7, you don't want to go too broad out the gate. One of the reasons being is that you cannot customize your ads as much if you're going targeting everybody, and then you'll have worse performance. For example, you want to have different niches or different subsets of audiences so you can modify your creative, the image you choose, the text you say, the call to action to speak more to that specific audience now that you know what they're interested in. Use that as a weapon and then target them better so it's more fine-tuned and resonates with them more. So for example, if I saw an ad start off with, "Are you an ads agency owner?" I'd be like, oh, I'd probably watch it, right? You want to use this tool to refine your ads to make them as customized as possible to all these different sub-niches while you're testing out audiences. Did I say sub-niches? I mean, did I say is sub-niches a word? Subsets of audiences. Targeting through more specific audiences and modifying your creatives to these specific audiences will increase the ability for you to customize them, increasing your click-through rate and giving you better costs overall. The flip side, again, and I know it's kind of like these little exceptions because there is no one shoe fits all for different products and services and whatnot, is don't go too specific because the really, really specific audiences you get to, like the 1,000 range or the 10,000 member size of that audience, it gets really expensive to target these people. So unless you have a very specific offer that only a very small sample set of people can purchase, avoid doing this because you're going to have really high costs. The next tip if you watch my videos, you already know what I'm going to say is the third biggest mistake when it comes to running Facebook ads. Not running Facebook video ads. Oh, just run video ads. Even if you're not good on video, you can actually use third-party software like Biteable, Promo. There's a few other. Facebook even has their own built-in video tool where you can create video using stock video, add your text, add your company's logo, add some music, and bam, you're good to go. So even if you don't want to be on a video like this, recording yourself, you can still experiment with video ads. The barrier to entry has gotten so low now that you really have to play around with these and see what kind of CPMs and click-through rates you get with video ads. They convey way more information than using static images, hence you watching this video. Get this, also Facebook users are 5 times more likely to engage with a Facebook video ad over a static image ad. They usually drive cheaper cost per clicks, and now you have access to new audiences such as people who've watched 50%, 75% of your video to retarget them with further offers. Now before I go to the very last point, if you're trying to increase your performance through your ads, like I mentioned with the video ads, you should actually look at some of the best examples out there. And we put together a free cheat sheet of all of our favorite Facebook ads so you can check their landing page, check their copy, check their image, and use these for inspiration when you're building your own ads. Feel free to click the link in the description and get free access to that. So the last most common mistake I see on Facebook ads is, let me get some water really quick. I just need to, hold on. Let me take one more sip. Not putting a huge importance on A/B testing and experimentation. Now this is often called split testing as well. I did a full breakdown video of how to do this inside Facebook ads. Check the link in the description. But in short, if you know what A/B testing is, you really need to be doing this on a consistent, regular basis, because it's not like you have a crystal ball and you know exactly what image and what text and what call to action, what placement, what audience, what bid strategy, what objective to optimize for will give you the absolute best cost per conversion. You always have to be testing for this. ABT, always be testing. And some examples of high impact levers to pull when it comes to A/B testing your ads and your strategies, those things, is go after things like testing on different bid strategies or optimizing for different goals. Yes, of course you want purchases, and of course you want people to, give you a book call, but maybe you should optimize for something that's lower friction first and see if that actually gives you better results, because your funnel is really good and takes care of the other half, and Facebook will now try to find more people at a cheaper cost per conversion for things like, a lead magnet download or a free trial. Or if you're in e-commerce, test out optimizing for the add to cart versus just for the purchase. Or if you're in software, test out people opting in for just the 14-day free trial versus the actual annual membership purchase. And then test out different bid strategies. So if you're going after ad set optimization versus campaign budget optimization, and see what's performing better for you, not to mention all the different audiences you could be testing out as well. Maybe modifying your ad image a little bit, take your top performing ad, modify the colors a little bit, add a different CTA in it as well, try different landing page offers. There's like so many more things you can test out on Facebook ads, placements too, that you can't really do on other platforms like Google Ads, that you really need to maximize that and test out every single one of them to see what is actually going to drive you towards your ideal cost per conversion, ideal cost per annual paying user, and ideal cost per book call. So I highly recommend, from personal experience, avoiding these mistakes. And if you have any questions at all, please leave a comment. I will try to reply to every single one. And if you got some value out of this video, what would help me out a ton is if you go ahead and hit that big red subscribe button, click the bell so you get notified when I release new videos, and throw it a thumbs up, throw it a like, so it tells the algorithm that this content is amazing. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Mudrich, and I'll talk to you later.